use the same.
What do you? Because this is like a 2014 MacBook Air.
Mine's
I want to say
I think mine is the exact same, but your webcam always looked better than I don't know, but
yeah. So what are you using now?
Like
a external webcam?
Yeah, it's a Logitech. It's like $130, but
yeah. Damn, Dan's is upgrading everything.
It's probably the biggest upgrade I'm doing in a while. Yeah, I just wanted like I was like, because I sit back and I like just wanted the arm so bad, but I didn't want to buy it because they're not expensive at all. But
what is it attached to?
Just my desk. So like you just I wish I could I don't want to fuck up my camera too much or I would move it more. But so it just screws onto your desk like with a
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So but you can get one for like $30. I just always thought they're they're not expensive on Amazon at all, but I thought that because I had a really cheap one a while ago, but it wasn't like it wouldn't keep the mic in place. So I was under the impression that if you were using like a cheaper mic stand, it would be shitty. Like it wouldn't actually like hold your mic up. But this one works fine. So
yeah,
I'm happy I made the investment. But
yeah, not for sure. What was I gonna say?
How's
I don't know.
How's shit been? How's house hunting been? You've been doing a lot of that.
Not really. Not in the past like 2 weeks, just because we had a wedding, and then just been like busy with this like other shit. Like you know what I mean? Like just like other light. Like it's like I'm just so tired every day, Dan. I'm so tired.
I feel like such a bitch, yeah, because I complain about the same thing, but you have a kid and you're buying a house, so it's like compared to problems or
no, in the market just still like everyone's like, oh, like my dad was like, I heard prices are dropping, and I'm like, I'm telling you, man, every news person saying that is fucking lying because it is not any easier. Like I guess the prices have dropped a little bit, but like it's still not like it's not easy. It's like, dude, there was this one in Socrates that we really liked, and the guy was like, yeah, there's like 14 offers on it already, and we're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Like that keeps happening, dude. Every time you see a house, it's like, well, like there's 10 people ahead of you, and they're all doing over asking, and it's like, well, okay, then fuck me then.
Yeah,
I'll just rent forever. I don't know.
It's gonna be, it's I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I think we still have. I wonder if the influx of people from the city has declined at all.
I truly don't know. You know what? This is how we're starting the podcast, apparently. Let me get some water real quick and feed the cats, because I do want to talk about that real quick, because I've been
sure. Wait, just leave your recorder on.
No, I am. But you bring up a good point about the influx, because like I wonder about it. Let me.
Yeah, sure. I always like to bullshit, and then I
have some observations.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, do whatever you got to do first, because I start before I tell you.
Yeah, for sure. I need a third cat dish. A cat dish. Yeah, I need a third dish for the cats to feed them. All right, I found one. Ooh, waffle. And we're back. Did you hear me say move, waffle?
Yes.
Yeah, so what you mentioned, I truly wonder if there are still people like actively moving up to this area, because I feel like every day, you, whatever. Obviously I'm not gonna name where we live, but people probably already figured it out. It's not the biggest area,
Right.
but I drive a lot, so every day I'm like, there is so much traffic in this fucking area. Like the city was not built to take this many cars, and every day I think there's more, and there's so many fucking Teslas now. I'm like, there's no way there weren't as many Teslas 2 years ago. So, and like, I think every day there's more of them. So I truly wonder if people are just still coming. Like, what do you think?
Seems, you brought up that's a great point. I've noticed that too, especially where I am. Where we're in the same area, but yeah, I noticed there is always so much traffic where we are in this, upstate New York area, and that it doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel like there should be. And I do spot a lot of Teslas. It is crazy. I had my parents, they owned 3 houses in the area that they
just parents are rich, y'all. He just admitted it. Fucking got him, you 1% motherfucker. Sound the horn. I'm kidding.
No. They were in
my in-laws own like 3 houses too, don't worry.
But they just sold them all. But it's they sold right away. But I don't know if it was to people in the city or anything, but
dude, I honestly don't know, man. And like, I'll see people like walking around, and I'm like, you don't look like you're from here. You're dressed too well. Yeah. People don't dress that well around here.
No, there was that.
Am I too loud? I sound a little too loud. Am I good? How are my levels?
You're okay. Maybe cool. Turn down the gain a little bit, but
all right, cool.
But yeah, I remember during COVID, Marissa and I went out to dinner somewhere, and there were this couple that started talking to us, and they were dressed, like you said, like very, very ritzy looking business dude in his 30s and his girlfriend. And sure enough, they started talking to us, and they did move here from the city. And they were, they were kind of asking, what is it like? Do people really hate us? And we're like, no, you guys are okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. I'm not in the market to buy a house here anytime soon, so I don't really care that much, but
yeah, honestly, I'm gonna get too much into it. I know you last time I was at your place, Marissa mentioned again those tentative plans. You mentioned it to me like 2 years ago, but it seems like it's still on the board. Oh, you don't seem crazy about it. We'll talk about that when we're together and drunk.
Yeah, no. I mean, I do want to move out of New York at some point. But when that will be, I don't know. But
One day you will hang up your Tims for good.
Yeah, and my North Face and my Arizona iced tea and my bacon, egg, and cheese.
And your NY fitted.
Yeah. And my Echo. Just go deeper and deeper down to the 90s.
There you go. It took me a second. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Holy shit, I forgot all about that.
But yeah, we're gonna be going to South Carolina next week. So we're gonna be gone for a week and a half, and I can't wait. So that'll be nice to get away for a week and a half. It's weird.
Fucking chewing tobacco and with a Confederate flag tied to his fucking back.
Yeah, I'm not too happy about the dirty South. But there's gonna be what was I gonna say? It's a weird feeling because this is gonna be our big vacation for the year, and summer is now basically over.
You've been on like 3 vacations then.
But it's been like extended little weekend trips. Nothing crazy. You do that too.
No, I haven't been on vacation since like last year when I didn't have a fucking baby. Remember when I went to Ocean City, Jersey, because one, we weren't going to Maryland, it's too far. And then we found out Ocean City, Jersey's a dry town, so that was fun. I mean, there's a liquor store right across the bridge, like 5 minutes away. I looked it up.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot of like towns like along the East Coast that were like founded by like the Catholics, like super hardcore Puritans, who like established the town as like a alcohol-free zone, and it just never changed. So literally, as soon as you're outside of the town border, which is like not very far, because again, these towns were established in like the 1700s, there's always a liquor store right there, and they make a killing. Mm-hmm. So like you can take alcohol into the town and like the hotel, like they don't give a fuck. You just can't buy it in the town.
Yeah, exactly. So, I also forget I think when we were in Jersey, you can't buy alcohol in just regular like department stores or anything. Like I couldn't
or the gas stations, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't. I went into CVS in my bathing suit and my douchey like Ray-Bans and snapback, looking for some White Claws, and I'm like just walking around like, where are they?
Yeah.
And
Dude, we were in we were in Philly 2 weeks ago, and we walked into the same thing where like, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot some states are weird and you can't buy alcohol in like stores, and so I went into like a little like bodega basically, and I was asked the guy, I was like, hey, like, this is what kills me. I was like, hey, like, where can I get beer around here? And he's like, oh, I don't know, right? And then a customer walked in and he's like, oh, you want to buy some beer? I got you, just right down the road. And I'm like, this guy's like, did this business like, I think the store guy just didn't want to like fuck with me, because he like, how do you not know there's beer right down the road from your fucking business? I don't know. You have to go to like beer worlds, like special made beer stores. So
yeah,
Pennsylvania and Jersey are weird, man.
It's weird too, because I was, speaking of which, I was also in the city last weekend, and you go into a New York City corner store or bodega, and they have jars of weed now in the little bodegas. Like you can
Wait, really?
Yeah, right by where we were, to the person we were visiting. There was this little corner, like little hallway bodega, like really really small. And there's jars of weed right in the counter, and I don't know if if it's legal, but I don't know. My brother was telling me all about it. I don't know. It's kind of like I don't know if it's illegal and just they don't enforce it. I have no idea what's going on in the city with that, but you can just buy weed anywhere.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, so like, okay, so my brother vapes, and he'll go to buy jewel pods, like the flavored jewel pods at the gas stations, and he says they're technically illegal. I don't know. I don't like. He tells me, he's like, yeah, he's like, flavored pods are illegal in New York State, and I'm like, you buy them every week, like it's not hidden. So I don't know.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with New York, and yeah, the whole like, apparently Biden has like a really hard crackdown on vapes, but yet I can go into a gas station and they now sell little liquor bottles at gas stations.
They'll sell fireballs.
Yeah, Fireball and like Southern Comfort. I see you can now buy in gas stations. Like, what is going on? I remember I saw that and I didn't think it was real. I'm like, I can't buy liquor here, can I? I guess you can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. That's why I love New York, man. It's like Jersey and PA are like, nah, you can't even buy beer here. And New York's like, nah, you want a fucking Jack Daniels? Here you go. Just gives it to you while you're in your fucking car pumping gas. Like, just chug it real quick before you get in the car.
While I'm picking up my Percocet at CVS, I can just go to aisle 3 next to Q-tips and get Southern Comfort.
Oh man. Anyway, welcome to Next Round on Me podcast. This is the podcast where we're supposed to talk about pop culture, but we have been talking about the states we live in and the influx of yuppies. I am your one host, J3AN865, aka Blandon, aka Papa, aka Father Pope John III. And my we're both co-hosts, and co-host 1A, because you're not number 2, Dan, you're 1A. Dan, aka Yogi Boo Boo, aka DMX's Spirit, aka John Walker from the Thunderbolts. I don't fucking know. Dan, say hi to the people.
Hello, thank you for that very diverse introduction. Yeah, wait, before we get past this part, subscribe to us on YouTube and subscribe to us on Twitch, Next Round on Me. And we have Patreon now, so go check out our Patreon. Link trees in the description. I just want to get that out of the way now.
And Instagram. And we're not really on Twitter that often, but find us on Twitter.
Exactly. So follow us on all that before so Gene, this week you wanted to go into some video game stuff. There's not a whole lot that happened this week. But apparently the video game world, there's some news dropping. Tell me about what's been going on.
Yeah, so the big thing is Call of Duty had a really big showcase. I know, Dan, you don't really play COD anymore, and you know what COD is. I think you told me you used to play a lot, like back in the day. So they're doing a Modern Warfare 2, not to be confused with 2011's Modern Warfare 2. This is new Modern Warfare 2 because they rebooted, like every great franchise does. They had their gritty reboot, which is saying a lot because COD's already like, you know, rated M, but like they rebooted Modern Warfare a few years ago and made it like really hyper realistic, like more like this is what war is like, and you know, you get to after like, you know, there's always a special epilogue where you go home and you suffer from depression and PTSD and you have to go pick up your pills from the pharmacy before you beat your wife and kill yourself. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, so
I thought that was real.
The reboot got a sequel because of course it did, right? And it's coming out in October, November. I have to look it up, but they actually hadn't really shown much about it, like up until yesterday. They kind of, instead of like drip feeding, they kind of just did like, hey, we're gonna have this big event, you know. Okay. So they did what honestly, I don't know why more companies don't do this, where they had a bunch of like the big Twitch streamers like Ninja, Tim the Tap Man, all these guys. They had them all in the room, and they were all on their PCs, and they had them play against each other, like in the alpha version of the game. And then, yeah, so you could watch that. So, you know, you could watch like the main like broadcast, I think on YouTube, and, you know, through like the Infinity Ward and Call of Duty channels, and it would switch between all the different streamers. Or you can go on like each individual streamer's account and just watch them play. I thought it was really well done. Like my brother, we went on Tim the Tap Man, and we just watched him play for a little bit. We went on this other one my brother likes. Again, I think it's really good marketing. You know, I don't know why other companies don't do this, but I think it's a very good way to, you know, build up hype. And, you know, streamers, you know, the big ones have a solid fan base, and, you know, what better way to show off your new game than have your favorite streamer play it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. And that was after they showed off the trailers and all the new stuff, you know, whatever. So my brother watched it. I caught the second half of it because I was working. But the big thing is they're doing Warzone 2. So as you know, Warzone is Call of Duty's battle royale mode. Insanely popular. And you know, to combat Fortnite, which is the king of battle royales, Warzone's also free to play. I don't know if you knew that, Dan. Yeah, Warzone's free to play. You can just download Call of Duty Warzone. You don't have to buy Call of Duty to just play Warzone. Because again, because you know the new model is you just make a free to play game, but then you sell the battle pass, which is right. Do you know how battle passes work? I actually don't know if you know how they work.
Well, it's in-game purchases, basically, right? They essentially.
Yeah, so a battle pass is 100 levels, and as you level up, you unlock a new cosmetic or emo, you know, a skin, you know, something, right?
Right.
And a battle pass is usually $10, you know, affordable, right?
Sure.
And basically, as you gain experience, you just go every time you reach a new level, you can be like, oh, I unlocked this character, I unlocked this skin, and none of it is like stuff to make you better either, because even if you don't buy the battle pass, like sometimes the battle pass will be like, okay, once you reach level 20, you unlock this weapon, but if you don't pay for the battle pass, you can still unlock the weapons. So the way it works is like, let's say you like don't pay for the battle pass and you hit like level 50. Every few like levels, like every 2-3 levels, there's a free item where you just get it because you're playing the game. But let's say you hit level 50 and then you bought a battle pass, you will unlock everything that you missed before because you bought it now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And a battle pass usually, so they usually do seasons. So season 1 battle pass, season 2, each season's like 2 to 3 months, you know, whatever. $10, not a bad deal. And COD is always making new skins, man. They're always making new skins, new emotes, and the company's kind of figured out like, oh, we would just make a bunch of money by just doing this, you know, by making battle passes. Because, you know, like 10 million people spend $10 on a battle pass. That's quite a bit of money. And now you have, you know, even a quarter of those people spending, you know, $2-3 here and there to buy new skins. You're fucking raking it in. And so, yeah, so that's how Warzone works. So they're doing Warzone 2, meaning it's a whole new map, a whole new engine, a whole new like everything, because I was asking my brother, like, are they going to shut down the Warzone 1 servers? And they're going to keep them open for a little bit, of course, but I can see them being shut down so they can have people shift over to new Warzone. And what's cool about Warzone is, so Warzone was introduced with Call of Duty Modern Warfare reboot like 2018, 2017, and then after that, you know, because COD is a yearly franchise, they introduced when they came out with Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Warzone integrated that. And then Call of Duty Vanguard came after that, and Warzone also integrated that. So it's like a nice little like hub of like, you know, every time a new COD comes out, all these new weapons are added to Warzone and these new character skins. So it's like a cool little like way of like, some continuity, because it's
Right.
kind of way of, and it's like, it's like, oh, it kind of sucks having to buy a new game every year, but at least Warzone is like the constant, and
Yeah.
Warzone still has events and would have new maps, and so I'm assuming Warzone 2 is just going to be the same thing, but just two. But my brother was telling me one big change that happened, and I'm going to go on a little tangent of this. Do you know what a loadout is?
No.
Okay. You remember how in Call of Duty you had your class, like you pick your gun, you add attachments and all that, and it's the class. And you have like what 5 to 10 classes, right?
Yep.
And you had like your little preset classes. So those are called loadouts now. Same thing, right? So yeah, it's the same thing though, because so now you can have your 10 like loadouts for like Call of Duty multiplayer, like regular, like you've played Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, Search and Destroy, whatever, right?
Yep.
What was your go-to game mode, Dan, when you used to play?
Oh, I did a lot of obviously Team Deathmatch, Search and Destroy. Really liked Capture the Flag for a while.
Yeah. Okay.
And I forget which. I think it was one of the Black Ops had Infection, which was a really fun game.
Oh, yeah, my brother told me about that because I didn't really play Black Ops 2 to 4. Anyway, so what was cool is your loadout for multiplayer would be separate from your Warzone loadout. So you could have 10 loadouts on multiplayer, then 10 loadouts on Warzone, which was, it's cool. You're not restricting yourself. The way loadouts work in Warzone is, so when you drop in, you pick up random weapons. Some of them have no attachments, some of them have like a little bit of attachments. It's whatever you pick up, luck of the draw, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you get and then you open chests to unlock, to find items and money. If you get $10,000, you can you go to the store and you can buy a loadout. The stores is how you buy like UAVs and kill streaks and shit, right? And perks. But you can also buy a loadout. Calls in the loadout, and then so a little like a crate drops, and you go and you pick that's how you access your loadout. Obviously the benefits are it's your loadout, you have it decked out to your play style, so now you're more comfortable, right? And then everyone gets a free loadout if you survive past the first ring closure. How battle royales work, right?
Yeah, Fortnite. It sounds very similar to Fortnite.
Yeah, so if you survive the first like ring closure, you get rewarded by a loadout drops in. And I always like the way COD did it because the loadout is based on your like, it's gonna drop near you, right? But if you see 2 loadouts drop, one of those is yours and one of them's another team's. That means there's another team near you.
Right.
I always like that, it's kind of like, oh, I want to get my loadout, but I see there's 2 more crates there. That means there's 2 other teams also nearby, So
yeah, it's like when you used to drop a care package.
Exactly. So my brother was telling me apparently in Warzone 2 there are no loadouts. And my brother was like, that makes no sense because actually part of the reason Warzone is so popular is because Fortnite doesn't have loadouts. Whatever you get is whatever you find in the game.
There's no classes.
PUBG, no loadouts, whatever you find. COD had loadouts, and it was like a nice little personalized experience, and it made it feel like COD. So now I'm like, why do these companies just love fucking shooting themselves? Like, I don't understand. Yeah, apparently this like a new revelation. They're saying no loadouts, and now of course everyone's like, why? So now everyone's thinking like, I guess if we all complain hard enough, they'll add them. And I'm just sitting here like, I don't understand how these business dudes were probably like, I don't know. I always feel like there's always like some shitty executive like who's on his fucking yacht on his gold-plated toilet calling the poor developers who are overworked and saying like take the loadouts away, and like they have no choice, like
right.
I don't know.
It seems like the same thing, or I don't know much about the gaming industry, but I'm assuming it's probably similar to the movie and entertainment, the rest of the entertainment industry, where you have executives that are in these high up positions. Like when you say you're delivering a game to a studio and you have to give it to the executives, they feel like they have to, like, it has to pass through all these people and these teams of people, and they have to approve it. Everyone seems like feels the need to give notes to the actual artists and the developers that really know what they're doing because it justifies their jobs. So if you're the screenwriter and I'm the executive, or I'm the one of the people that works for the executives that you need to pass me your script, I feel the need like, okay, I need to give this guy feedback and give him notes so I can justify my own job. That's a big thing that I hear about in the industry. And I'm sure the games industry isn't too different. But
probably isn't, because, you know, at the end of the day, like, Activision publishes you and they're like, Activision's loaded. It's always like some dude who's like, listen, I didn't go to film school. I've never taken a writing course, but I did go to business school. So add this misogyny to your script, which is
right.
like, you know, like, I'm noticing there's a lot of woman respecting going on here. We're changing that.
So
um,
Warzone is free to play, and the new Modern Warfare it's a completely different game.
Yeah, so the way it works is when you buy like Modern Warfare, you pay $60, whatever, you know, and you get the campaign, the multiplayer mode, and Warzone all right in. You
Oh,
don't have
okay.
to buy the game though. You can just download Warzone for free.
Gotcha. So Warzone's just the battle royale.
Yeah, and like, you know,
Game
when you buy
that
Modern
comes
Warfare,
right.
yeah, and the way they do the interface now is like 3 like blocks, and it's like center's campaign, right is multiplayer, left is Warzone. You know, like when you access Modern Warfare, you know, you can enter Warzone right there, but like you don't have to buy COD. That's like if you want the multiplayer, which again, people still play the multiplayer. Some people just aren't good at battle royales. You know, some people don't like it. I played both. I enjoyed, you know, both differently. You know,
Gotcha.
yeah, because, you know, people are still gonna play multiplayer. Like people still love team deathmatch and search and destroy and shit. So
Oh, sure.
that's why you still go buying COD, you know. And people like the story. Like people like the Modern Warfare games because you have Captain Price and Soap and all these characters that we saw in the original Modern Warfare, and, you know, all that stuff. So, you know, you still have like, COD is just like the big campaign spectacle stuff, like all these crazy scenarios and, you know, whatever. And I enjoy single player. I enjoy just story. Sure, you know, I enjoy typical, like, we have to go to this Middle Eastern country for the oil. I mean, because they're bad guys.
Right. Yeah, no,
so,
I love those campaigns.
Yeah, no, they're fun. Yeah, no, so you don't have to buy the game, like, if you don't want to, honestly. And again, you're gonna still get your money somehow. Like, you're very likely gonna buy the battle pass.
So,
You know, like,
yeah, I guess my question is, so this new Modern Warfare, I knew there was a reboot.
yeah.
So when you say reboot, is this a remaster, or is this
N-
straight up, like, you know, where the graphics, it's the same game but the graphics are updated and it's all updated, or is it just like a literal, just it's a new game with new maps and everything, you know?
All right, check this out, Dan. I forgot who made a really good YouTube video about this, about like when like franchises don't know how to like name their products. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
Because you tell me
so here,
you tell me a
let
reboot. Like, I know they remake, or they remake
all right, Dan.
games.
I'm gonna read some video game names to you. You tell me what it sounds like, okay?
Okay.
All right. So we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, no, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Does any of that make sense to you?
You know, I'm sure this doesn't make it any easier, because I'm sure a lot of people aren't even buying these games physically anymore, right? It's more just you're
Yeah.
downloading it off an online store.
Yeah.
So, geez, that's insane.
Right?
That's so confusing.
So here's a quick rundown. Call of Duty was a World War II first-person shooter at first. So
Sure.
Call of Duty 1, 2, 3. Oh, and check this out then. There's Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty World War II, and Call of Duty Vanguard.
It just
Okay.
makes sense to almost just say the year it was released, or there might be multiple in a year.
Like Madden did. Yeah. So basically, Call of Duty 1, 2, and 3 were all World War II games. So that's
Right.
why when they made the fourth one, it was like, this is Modern Warfare. We're not in World War II anymore, we're in Modern Warfare. Cool. Simple. And we see the 4 there, we know it's the fourth entry, right? Then they just dropped the number and did Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Okay, fine, right? But then they did Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered, which is what you said. They took the original game, remastered it, you know, new graphics, made it available on new systems, and even had multiplayer mode, right? And then the original Modern Warfare 2, they remastered just the campaign. They didn't remaster the multiplayer for that game, just the campaign. because that came out the same time as the Modern Warfare reboot.
Dear God. So they're just releasing, or they're redoing like just pieces of an original game.
Yeah.
Dear God.
Yeah, right? So
Games
the reboot
wild.
The reboot was like it's like it's not the same story, nothing, but it's like characters will appear in the old version, but like in like new ways, you know. It's kind of like I don't know, what's a good movie example? Give me a good movie example.
Sounds like it's like just a remix, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, like, I don't know. You should.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Hey, you know what Battlefield did? Do you know how Battlefield named their franchises, Dan?
Oh no, Battleship?
No, Battlefield. You ever play Battlefield? Battlefield's fun.
I know it. I've never played it though.
All right, so they did, the first one was called Battlefield 1942. Then they did Battlefield Vietnam, and then they did Battlefield 2. Jeez. So we went from 1942 to 2, right? And then Battlefield 2142, Battlefield Bad Company, Battlefield Bad Company 2, then Battlefield 3, then Battlefield 4, and then Battlefield 1.
Oh my God.
And then Battlefield V, because it's a 5.
Are we going to get to a point where, like, Call of Duty, right? They have Modern Warfare. It's based off of real wars that have happened in history. They're not really fictional, any of them, from what I remember.
Well, Modern Warfare isn't, but it's like, you know, it's like, who's America gonna fight? The Russians and the Middle East, vague, you know, like
vague Middle East country,
unnamed Middle East country.
Right, it's Top Gun. When are they gonna do? When are they gonna do like Call of Duty Ukraine versus Russia? You know, like when are they gonna do? You know,
good times. You know what was crazy? I remember I played Call of Duty World at War, which is a World War II game, and there was like, so like the Nazis had like, you know, like swastika iconography because that was a thing. And then a few years ago, they did Call of Duty World War II, and now we're in the age of woke. So there was not a single swastika in that game, Dan. In a game where the Nazis are prominent and they're one of the, you know, like factions.
It's very
bizarre. I guess we can't have that because swastikas just never existed, Dan. Even if the game lets you play as Nazis because that's one of the multiplayer factions, or in the game or in the campaign, you're like an American soldier or a British soldier and you're fighting against Nazis. Can't show a swastika. Why? Fucking knows, Dan. Because we'll get canceled, apparently.
I would be fine with it if they weren't calling it a World War II game explicitly. It can just be a fictional war that looks like World War II. But when you're calling it a World War II game, you know, it's supposed to be World War II.
Sorry, the Nazis just never had swastikas, Dan. They just had that that one cross emblem and an eagle.
Yeah, I don't know. I am that marketing though, how they give, you know, yeah, you're right. I don't know why they don't do that more often with games. Maybe they do it and I'm just not aware of it, where they give they were playing like the beta or
yeah, so they're playing the alpha, not even the beta, the alpha.
The alpha, okay.
And you can tell too, which is like fine, you know. But I think it's really great marketing, and I think COD usually does that. And I think Battlefield started doing that, but like it's really good marketing. Just like, yeah, like listen, like, you know, if you're a company, and I mean, it's almost kind of like what Fortnite did with Travis Scott. And you know, I was actually I was driving earlier, and when I get on my car, before the Bluetooth like activates or whatever, it just plays the radio for a minute. And I don't know who it was, but some artist was like on a radio station promoting his Roblox concert. And I was like, oh,
no. Okay. Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, Roblox concert.
Yeah, dude. I think I have like my station set to like K104 or something. Yeah. So Heartland. I think that's it. Yeah. So I mean, I think companies are kind of figuring it out. Like, listen, you just attach like some popular person to our game, we're gonna fucking do it, you know?
Yeah. That's wild.
Oh, here we go. Okay, do you know who LAUV is? Love?
No, never heard of him.
Oh my god, Dad. Okay. So I'm on the website. And so it's like a world in the Roblox, like, you know, like probably a server, right? So it's called iHeartland, but like iHeartRadio, like the company iHeart,
Yeah.
right? So that's product placement number 1, right?
Okay.
And then, of course they have like a big like screen because like, while you're playing, you'll see like an avatar of the artist, right?
Mm-hmm.
On top of the screen in big old letters, it says State Farm Park. So that's product
Wow.
placement number 2. Because who needs insurance? The children playing Roblox. They certainly need car insurance there.
Yeah, that is a weird demographic to go for. But I remember even like I feel like even in the PS2 days, like in old, there was always product placement in video games.
Was there? I don't know, man.
I
I
feel like there was always product placement in
don't.
games, but
Man,
yeah,
I don't know.
it's gonna get more egregious, that's for sure.
It's gonna get, yeah. So speaking about COD, okay, so this thing can a while back it came out that Microsoft was due to acquire Activision. I don't know if you remember this.
I do roughly remember this story, yes.
Yeah, Microsoft basically like they gave Xbox Microsoft got a new like head of Microsoft a new head of Xbox a while back, and they just give him a blank check. Like, listen, we're Microsoft, we have all the money as well. Here's this blank check, do what you can. And they acquired Bethesda, which was huge because Bethesda makes Fallout and World of Warcraft and Overwatch, insanely huge companies. Sorry, not more Activision. So they acquired Bethesda, and then they acquired Activision Blizzard.
Yep.
So again, massive, right? So Microsoft was like, yeah, that blank check, hell yeah, use it to all you want. The head of Xbox was like, I'm using all this fucking money to, whatever. So they haven't acquired Activision Blizzard yet, but they're in the process because these things take a lot of lawyers and money. But there's rumors that were like, oh well, Activision owns Call of Duty. And that means Microsoft will own Call of Duty. So does that mean Call of Duty is going to be an Xbox exclusive? Which even that would be huge because Call of Duty is, I would say, the biggest well-known video game franchise. Everyone knows what COD is. Like, dude, like the kids at my old job know what COD is, and I'd be like, you guys don't have electricity. What the fuck? Anyway, so, so it became this thing where one of the Xbox heads, I think Phil Spencer was like, no, like like that, you can tell it's like a script written by like a lawyer, like a PR person being like, we appreciate that we want everyone to play together. Like we're gonna have Call of Duty on Sony for a very long time. And then Sony released a statement saying that like Microsoft is only gonna let them use COD for like 3 years or some shit. Because they were like, yeah, that's not what they told us. Like they're telling you guys for a long time, but they told us like just 3 years, So it kind of opened this conversation because Sony notably has a lot of exclusives. The Spider-Man game, which is phenomenal, is only on PlayStation. God of War is only on PlayStation. Final Fantasy Remake, originally only on PlayStation. There's talks that it was going to be on Xbox, but Sony is very well known to approach studios and like be like, hey, like we want to publish your game, but it can only be for PlayStation. Like Sony does this. So now everyone's like, oh, Sony's kind of mad that someone's doing to them what they do to people.
I have a dumb question. Really quick. Because I'm aware of, like of the companies buying other developers and, they make them exclusives to their whatever their hardware.
Yeah.
So where does PC gaming come in? So like Spider-Man is
PlayStation,
is PlayStation exclusive. But if I'm gaming on a PC, is anything exclusive? Can anything be played on PC?
Oh yeah, dude. So actually PC is the outlier because a lot of times the game will come out on like only PlayStation at first, but then the PC will get it. PC gets everything, dude. PC actually has way more games that are PC exclusive versus console because PC is just that much stronger. There's a lot of cool games on there for PC. Like
so there are some games. I feel like so many of the big gamers play on PC. So what the fuck?
The streamers do because I mean, like a PC is still more like a console still more accessible. Like you don't have to upgrade a console. Like I'm gonna spend $500 once for a PlayStation 5. Like and that's gonna last me for like 10 years because I think you remember how like when you first get a game console, like like the graphics look pretty good, but then a few years later they look so much better, like on the same console. because the developers have time to really learn the console. On a fucking PC, you're upgrading your graphics card and shit every few months. You want to be optimized. So, like, all the streamers can play on PC because like they can afford to, because like you can play a lot. You can scrape kids on COD with a mouse and keyboard way faster because you can just fucking turn on a dime with your mouse. Right. So they can afford to, like it kind of gets to the point where you're just kind of like, I might as well, and it's beneficial to your job to keep winning. So you want to have like the best way to win. But honestly, most gamers I think are on console. I mean, there's a lot of cool shit on PC. There's always like the amount of times I've watched a trailer for a game that looks cool as shit, and it's like only on Steam, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Interesting. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I was just curious, because I always think when it comes to these exclusive stories, like, oh, it's just going to be on PlayStation or it's going to be Xbox exclusive. I'm thinking, well, it's going to also be on PC, right? But no, that makes sense. Okay, so gotcha. So they're going to be
the consoles really. I mean, like, I don't know how many people do you know that even have a desktop computer in their house anymore? Like, I don't think I know.
Just Josh.
Yeah, right. Just like Josh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, PC is still like a niche. I don't want to say niche thing. I don't want people to come for me, because I have friends who play on PC, but like,
right.
And people who play on PC, they only play on PC because they've invested the money into it, and you can play anything on Steam, Right. But I feel like like, a lot of people still casually, like, I know adults, like, I mean, not that we're adults. Okay. I know people who are like in their 40s who casually play Call of Duty, or they'll casually play Red Dead Redemption, so they're not going to go build a PC.
Right. A lot of casual gamers. Sure. And yeah, you're right. Call of Duty is definitely a more entry level. Yeah. Baby first game.
Or even someone who's like, oh, I like to play Red Dead Redemption, and I'm gonna play like once my kid's in bed, for like an hour. Like, they're gonna play on their Xbox or some shit,
you're right. No, you're 100% right.
And even then, like, and even if they're like not keeping up with the modern console, you can get like a PS4 or like an Xbox One for like $300-$250 now. So it's just, even like last gen, because the casual gamers, like, they're like, well, I don't need a PS5 to play the new shit. I can still play a lot of great games on the old generation, which is like fine.
Right.
It's just kind of like but people were just kind of like, it opened the discussion, because I personally, I don't like video game exclusivity. I'm not a fan of it. And actually for a few years there, it was kind of going away and then kind of just started again. So
I wonder,
I don't know.
Yeah, that it sucks for the consumer, I guess, right? Because you could have a PlayStation and you hear, oh, well, Spider-Man games are obviously Sony going to be a PlayStation exclusive. That's good for you. But then as soon as Xbox gets something exclusive, then you're shit out of luck. So, again, I can only relate this back to like the movie industry, just things that I can think of that are kind of similar. But it's almost like you would almost think there would be, I mean, I guess if they own the developers, like Microsoft would own the developers, and Sony would own their developers. It's interesting because, like, I'm pretty sure there's laws in America, right, where, so for example, a movie studio like Disney or Netflix, they cannot own their own movie theaters. They can't buy a movie theater chain, because if like, Disney bought a movie theater chain or opened a movie theater chain, they're only playing Disney shit. So it's interesting.
That makes sense.
I don't know if that's a 1-to-1 comparison, but it seems like a similar, where you almost feel like there would be laws to where you can't. If I'm Microsoft, I'm a hardware. I'm a hardware publisher. I can't produce. I mean, it doesn't really make sense. Maybe, I don't think there shouldn't be.
No. That's actually a really good point, because if you think about the top 3 consoles are Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch, right?
Right.
Nintendo's never gonna die,
Right.
Nintendo,
all their games are exclusive, all their titles. So I guess
exactly, and it works, because like, hey, you want to play Mario? You're never gonna play Mario on something that's not Nintendo,
right? Exactly.
Like, never.
Mm-hmm.
And Nintendo's like, think about like, out of the people making consoles from like the 70s and 80s, who's the only one left? Nintendo, baby.
Yeah, true.
Sony and the Xbox only jumped in the late 90s, and and of course they had this insane backing, but Nintendo, like, Sega fucking died, and then now, remember when there was a big Nintendo Sega rivalry?
Yes.
And now you can play Sonic the Hedgehog on Nintendo. So
Exactly.
like, who won, Dan?
Yeah.
Who won? So no, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because it's kind of where things are heading, because before, the classic model was like, well, Sony makes the console, but then other companies make the games.
Right.
Nintendo was the only real one who was like, we make our own games for our own consoles. Other than that, it was like, well, EA makes this game, Activision makes this game, yada yada yada. But then Microsoft started buying studios.
Right,
Microsoft was
buying.
like,
yeah.
And Microsoft even created their own Microsoft Studios. And, they also, like, they bought 343 Studios. I don't know. So, Bungie made a Halo. Halo built everyone knows Xbox wouldn't be shit about Halo, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And then once Bungie was like, we're going to make Destiny, Ale, what is it? They made 343 Studios just to sell it to Microsoft?
343 Studios is a studio, a part of Microsoft.
But Bungie wasn't a part of Microsoft.
What?
Bungie wasn't owned by Microsoft, were they?
I don't know.
Oh, well, my point is, like, we're now in the era where, like, Microsoft's like, well, we have all the money, so we can just buy studios. They made their own studio. Like, they make Forza, which is a great game, but now they're like I think they own Rare. You remember Rare?
Yes.
Yeah, like Rare wasn't like they weren't owned by Microsoft before, but like, so now we're kind of seeing that where it's kind of harder for independent studios to survive, because like Microsoft just gonna fucking buy you up. They'll just be bought by someone, right?
Right.
And it's like, so it's kind of what you said, but it's not as regulated. I feel like it's more regulated for movie theaters, because movie theaters are more integral to like society and like the everyday like experience.
Right.
So
it's
I
been
feel
around
like
longer.
the government. Well, yeah, of course. I actually never thought about that. How like, yeah, Disney can't just buy a fucking movie theater because they're just going to play the shitty Pinocchio movie 24/7.
Yeah, there is. I'm 90% sure there are laws about that. How that?
Oh, so I get pissed at like, God, we need an episode where I just complain about Live Nation the entire time, because Dan, I cannot fucking stand Live Nation.
You
know what Live Nation is, right?
No, what's Live Nation?
They own Ticketmaster.
Oh yeah, of course.
Wait, but Dan,
there's been
they also own a shit. They also own a shit ton of venues. So when you own the ticketing company and you own the venues, we call that a monopoly. But I guess it's not. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like with the gaming industry, maybe it is just. It's going to be in the next, couple of years. It's going to be just this fight to who's going to buy up the most company or the most developers, and who's going to have that monopoly first, who's going to get the cash to buy up all the competition. And
we're only going to have like 6 companies in like 10 years. You think about it. We're really going to have fucking like what? Tesla, SpaceX, Google, Amazon, Disney, Microsoft, and Sony and Disney. That's it. That's it. Oh, and Warner Brothers, and that's it.
It is really funny. That's a thing, and that's just, not to relate this again back to it. It's just all of the entertainment industry.
No, there's
right
parallel.
now.
Yeah, it's the entertainment industry.
They're doing it more and more than anyone else, because South Park had their new. I think we might have talked about this on another episode, but they had that streaming wars 2-part episode where that was basically the whole critique of their episode was that it's not about making good quality content with streaming services anymore. At least this was their whole thesis in those 2 episodes. It's that, these studios are just trying to build up a library of just anything original. Like, doesn't matter what the quality of the content is, just so they can be appealing for other companies to buy them out. That's all it is. And just so they can just merge with other companies. And we're seeing that with the HBO and whatever else it was merger.
And we see it with like everything. Like, remember Wordle was a huge thing and the New York Times bought them out? Like, anytime anyone starts something, it sells out. John Krasinski did his whole, like, remember that show he did during COVID and then he sold it?
Good
like,
news.
Yeah, like, you just, it sucks. That's the world we live in now, because like, and I get it. People are like, like, if I'm some broke motherfucker and I make an app that, if I make Wordle, like right now with the money I make in my life, then I make Wordle, New York Times, like, hey, here's $1 million. I'll be like, yeah, thank you. That's my routing number,
Right.
Like, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah,
that's the world we live in.
exactly. I made Flappy Bird.
But that guy was like, I fucking hate this. He like took it off.
Right, that's what it was with him.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just Do you watch High Top Films?
No.
Oh shit! So my brother watched. I could swear you liked High Top. I was
Never
confused
heard
with
of
Red. I always think it's Red Letter Media you like. High Top makes. He's like Red Letter. He's like Captain Midnight. He's making content about MCU and DC and shit, right?
Sure.
He made a video. He made everyone. If you're a content creator on YouTube talking about Marvel, you are making a move. You're making a video titled, what Disney needs to do for Phase 4 or how to save Phase 4, something like that, right?
Right, exactly.
That is an easy 500,000 views. So of course I watched it. And it just got me thinking. He was just talking about again, like, do we really need She-Hulk? Do we really need 4 TV shows and 4 movies a year where the CGI looks worse than Iron Man 1? Like, no. Like, how about we work on these characters? And you know what it is? Hey Dan, how many times have we? Actually, it's a good segue. How many times have we watched Thor learn to love himself?
Yeah.
3 times, Dan. 3 times, Dan.
God, you're opening up a whole nother can of worms.
Dan, what lesson did Thor learn in Thor Ragnarok? I learned to love myself. What lesson did he learn in Endgame? I learned to love myself. What lesson did he learn in the new one, Love and Thunder? I learned to love myself and love others. High Top made a really good point of like, they don't even let their characters grow. Like every time, like they learn a lesson in a movie, the next movie it doesn't matter because he's got to learn that lesson again. There's no like growth, and that's something we saw in Phase 1, 2, and 3. Tony Stark had a narrative arc. Steve Rogers had a narrative arc. Everyone had growth, but now it's like, fuck it.
Right. I was gonna say I don't think that was the case in the beginning, but yeah, definitely
it wasn't.
Nowadays.
So that's a good segue. Let's talk about Thor: Love and Thunder. Welcome to the jungle. Right? Is it the song that plays in this one?
Yes. So Gene and I both watched Thor: Love and Thunder this past week.
Not together, though. Not together.
Not together. It just released on Disney Plus, so a lot of people have been watching it recently. We watched it for the first time. Thank God I did not go see it in theaters. I don't want to.
Let me ask.
Full spoilers ahead here. Just a warning for Thor: Love and Thunder. So we're gonna get into that. So yeah, go for it.
Before we get into it, well, I want to. Anyone listening to this, you're gonna think, well, this came out back in July. But here's the thing, Dan, why didn't you watch it in theaters?
Because I didn't. I heard it was terrible, and I wanted to go see Nope.
Okay, fair enough. Actually, yeah, and I didn't watch it because I have a fucking baby. I can only watch a movie in theaters like once every 4 months.
Right.
But let it be known, we were gonna watch it.
Oh.
Like Dan, Josh, and like our significant others and like our friends, like we were gonna go to the movies, and Dan was like, I guess I'll watch. It was kind of like I guess I'll watch Love and Thunder. And then we remembered, oh shit, Jordan Peele made a new movie, and that was it. Like we were just like, oh, let's just watch a good movie instead.
Yeah. No,
that was a great choice.
Yeah, no, I'm the same thing with you. I've been on this rant a million times before if anyone's listened to any of my solo episodes, but yeah, I like going to the movie theater, but I don't have a whole lot of time, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
I think back in 2018 I was definitely going to the movie theater a lot more. But now that I'm not in college anymore and I got a girlfriend and you have a kid and we're both like super busy all the time, I barely ever have time to go to the theater. And when I do go to the theater, I want to make sure it's like a movie I really want to see that I think I'm going to like.
Yeah.
And I liked Thor Ragnarok. I was really excited to see Thor: Love and Thunder. I was super excited. I loved the title. I loved the first teaser trailer, but then it came out. And then I think it was the second week it was out, the second weekend, and I just kept hearing shittier and shittier and shittier reviews about it. And I'm like, and I was just so burned from Doctor Strange and the multiverse. I was just thinking to myself, I do not want to spend money to go and see a movie I'm going to just not really enjoy. Like, I don't want to come on here and hate every movie, especially if I'm going to go to the theater. So, and to that same point, especially with the Disney Marvel stuff now, everything is dropping on streaming way quicker now.
Right away. Yeah.
I mean, it's only
once I saw how. Yeah. No, you go.
But yeah, no. So I thought to myself, I find myself more and more now just watching newer movies when they drop on streaming, and I feel like that's not a very, you know, that's kind of a bigger trend now where people are just watching the new movies of the year when they drop on streaming a month later. You're seeing that
Yeah,
more and more with all streaming services. So if I'm going to the theater,
yeah.
it's going to be for something that I'm really hyped about that I really want to see.
And
So
again, yeah, you know what it is. Yeah, like I saw that Nope is already, you can rent it already. The
yep,
Black Phone, and I was like, these movies just came out, and I mentioned it a few months ago. Like I remember I was on Disney, and I was like, Doctor Strange is streaming already. It was like a month and a half later. So, which again, it really works for me because
no, me
I'm like,
too.
oh, now I can watch this movie, and I don't have to like figure out like, am I gonna watch this movie by myself, or Miriam and I got to find a babysitter? You know what I mean? It's like for us, it works really well. Like it was great. Like once we put Maya to bed, we just sat on our couch and watched the movie. Something we don't, it was great to like have that luxury and not have to worry about fucking babysitter. So I'm not
Exactly.
complaining. The death of movie theaters be damned. But like Knives Out 2, that's a Netflix thing. I don't even know what's going to theaters, which is I would have loved to see them in theaters. That does
Yeah.
bum me out a little bit. Of course, like it benefits me really well because I can be like, cool, I can watch it. But like, I love Knives Out 1. It's one of my top 5 movies ever.
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons. Sure,
Sure.
there's pros and cons. But okay. For Thor, I don't want to really synopsis it. I don't really. I don't
It's
know.
Thor Love and Thunder. I mean, what did you there's a lot to what did you give me your overall? Give me your overall impressions of it, just quick, and then we'll get into all the nitty-gritty.
I will. First thing, did you watch it by yourself?
No, I watched it with Marissa. We watched it 2 nights ago.
Okay, did she like it?
She fell asleep halfway through.
Okay. No, because I've realized like I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, man. Ever since becoming a dad, I'm like so emotional now. Not that like I didn't love my family. And like no, like not that I didn't love my family before, but like I love my family even more now. Like it's somehow possible where I love my wife more. If that makes any sense. Not that I didn't love her before, but now I love her even more. Which is kind of crazy to think about. Anyway, so I've kind of realized like in my fatherhood, if Miriam likes something, it kind of makes it easier for me to like swallow it.
That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to ask if you watched it alone, because I don't know if like maybe like that also affects your opinion of movies. So I watched it with Miriam as well. She started to fall asleep during the ending, but I woke her up. I was like, you need to finish this fucking movie. Okay. Wait, what did you want me to start with? I forgot.
Just your overall impression of it, like how you felt about it, like any big takeaways or
didn't hate it. I would
Okay.
give it like a 3 out of 5. I didn't hate it. I honestly, okay, I liked it more than I thought I was going to, because I went into it, unfortunately, with like all the critics from like, the summer, like you know what I mean, like that was already in my head.
Sure.
So I kind of went into it of like, all right, let's see whatever, let's see what it is. I didn't hate it. I'm biased, so the minute the Guardians fucked off to their movie, I was like, oh, this movie's gonna be worse now.
Yeah.
Because I love the Guardians of the Galaxy, notably. Positives. Christian Bale, fucking, oh my god, I love Christian Bale. And it's also like an issue now because now Marvel can afford AAA movie stars.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh, watching a good actor in these movies really shows you how like not good other people are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess.
Like, I loved Christian Bale. I thought he was great because Christian Bale, we all know he gives it his all. He doesn't come on set to half-ass. This man will lose 100 pounds. This man will starve himself, get fat as shit to play Dick Cheney, and also become buff to play Batman. Applaud him. You know? Chris Hemsworth, not bad. I don't think he's a bad actor. You know, whatever. He's there. I really like Natalie Portman. I thought she did great, especially given how for a while she was like, nah, I'm fucking over that. But then like YTT was like, hey, like, do you want to play Thor? And she was like, hell yeah. So I like that. I'm not gonna lie, the chemistry between her, Tessa Thompson, and Hemsworth, I thought was great. I thought she was a really cool addition to the whole like little chemistry team that they established in Ragnarok. You know what I'm saying? Of like core. I thought that adding Portman. Yeah, and I thought adding Portman to that chemistry really worked. I love the third act. It could have gotten there better. I'll get to that. But I love the whole like, again, I have a daughter, so I'm not gonna lie, man. When he's like, when Gore is dying, and he's just like, "Will you take care of her?" I felt that, Dan, because I have a daughter, so like I felt that. Like
Right.
I thought it was beautiful. I really did. I thought it was beautiful, and it was really well done. And like this, like there was YTT realized like I can't have a comedy beat in this part, so it's like this really nice, like beautiful, stark white background, and you have like that really like cool, like I guess God analogy, and like you know, like you know what I mean. Like I thought that's like I thought like cinematographer that was really well done. So like there are some parts where I'm like, this is really well made. That black and white world, that was really fucking cool. You know, there were parts that I was like, okay, like this is merit, but and so yeah, there were things I liked. I'll get to the things I wasn't a fan of. So I'm gonna hear about what stuff you did like as well, like what little part. 'Cause I saw you gave it a 2 out of 5. So I want to know at least what you did like. What gives what are those 2 stars for you?
Yeah, so obviously you're probably in the same boat. I was a huge fan of Ragnarok. I loved Thor Ragnarok, so I was really and you know, Thor has become, like a lot of other people, one of my favorite characters in the MCU. So I was super hyped. I thought the title Thor Love and Thunder was awesome. I watched the teaser trailer and I thought it looked amazing. And this is already when when I like just hated everything Marvel was doing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited for Love and Thunder. Then I saw the full trailer. Oof, that was rough. But so anyway, I don't think I disliked this movie as much as I disliked Doctor Strange.
Okay.
If that makes sense. With Doctor Strange, I'm just doing like a comparison of the last Marvel movie.
Well, there were the 2 big ones, yeah.
Sure. So for something like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, what I couldn't stand so much about that movie was how much there was just exposition dialogue dumps about lore and the multiverse and stuff that I just didn't care about, and it was a mess.
Okay.
Here, I felt like there wasn't as much of that, which I was appreciative of, but I just felt really bored throughout this entire movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
There wasn't anything offensively bad. I didn't get the same like angry, visceral reaction I did while watching She-Hulk, which I did a whole rant about that of why. I mean, Marvel wasn't literally like insulting their audience while the movie was going on, but no, I didn't care for Thor Love and Thunder either.
Well, so what did you like? I want to like at least what positives would you give it?
So I was struggling through a lot of the movie to figure out what I did like, and we'll go over everything that I didn't. There was no, I mean, and I'm trying to be like not hateful here, but
I know
there really wasn't much of anything that I did like in this movie. I was even during the movie, I'm like thinking, is there anything that I can say that I like? Is there any? Basically,
you gave it 2 stars. I don't know what those 2 stars are.
Well, it's, you know, I mean, sometimes I just don't think it's the worst piece of shit in the world, but it just doesn't mean I have any positives. The one thing, I think the reason why I gave it like a 2 stars and why I wasn't just like a 1.5. But I think the one thing I did like about this movie was the way that they ended it on, just from a story narrative perspective. I did like that they ended it with Thor having a child and taking on a daughter. I did really actually like that ending of his character. And I was kind of hoping this movie would act as Thor's last adventure. You know, I really want them to start to wrapping up the idea that these characters are ending their story at some point. Yeah. And they just can't fucking commit to that with a lot of these OG Avengers, just Captain America and Iron Man and Black Widow. Yeah. But they're just again, I was so excited for Thor Love and Thunder because to me this was going to be, oh my God, is this going to be Thor's like last adventure and he's going to like end it where he's just taking off his gloves and like just putting down his hammer and saying I'm done with this. And he kind of does that. They find him at the end in New Asgard with this raising this daughter. And I did love that. Yeah. That as a story beat, I thought would be a great way if Chris Hemsworth never plays this character again, which honestly at this point I don't want him to because of all the new things they're introducing. I don't need him anymore. He's done 4 movies. Yeah. But
He's gonna.
So,
I mean, at this, he's gonna have more than fucking Iron Man and Captain America at this point.
yeah, he's the character who would have thought that out of all of the OG Avengers, Thor would be the only one to get 4 movies. And I doubt
and
there's going to be another character that gets that treatment.
He's very likely going to get a 5th. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a 5th.
Oh God, I would hate that because this movie was not good.
So you keep mentioning how you like Ragnarok. What does Ragnarok have that this one doesn't have? Like, is it Loki? Is it Bruce Banner? Is it like what is it that?
Yeah,
was it because Ragnarok was fresh, or like what is, because like they are. I mean, maybe this one was a little too much. Like, because I've been struggling. I'm like, okay, my brother hates Ragnarok, so maybe he was onto something from the beginning. All the critiques he has for Ragnarok, or all the critiques that people have for this movie, so maybe he was onto something. Maybe you and I were just like rose-colored lenses because YTT was like fun and that cool '80s thing. Maybe it just worked once. I don't know.
Well, no, it's funny you bring that up because I was thinking that a lot during watching this movie. It felt like this movie was definitely trying to hit a lot of those same beats story-wise that Ragnarok did when you really think about it, because they go on this mission, they go to this one intergalactic city of something with a side villain, and then they go back to those are the beats. And then, there's this old nostalgic song that Thor has to like do a battle sequence to.
Yeah.
But then I kept thinking about it. There's way more than that. So I guess it tries to do a lot because my example is when I first started watching it, right? And we're into the first, they open with Gore the God Butcher. And I thought that was a cool introduction to his character, and then they get into, all right, now we're back with Thor, and Korg's got to do the introduction and let me tell you the story of Thor, and they get you to that opening battle with the Guardians and Thor, and they're playing that classic rock song, I forget, and I loved the Immigrant song in Ragnarok. That song when it played during those battle sequences was so perfect for Thor.
Yeah.
I guess what the issue is that when Taika Waititi took over Thor with Ragnarok, that was a completely reinvention of Thor as a character. And that was fresh and new. And it was like, oh my God, here's this gold mine. Here's how we do Thor. Yeah. And the plot was just really solid.
Yeah.
Here, it's the same thing, but it's more dumbed down. And then there's all these other plot elements they try to throw in. Every joke for me fell flat. I did not laugh at one thing. But I don't know about you. Every joke.
I laughed at a few of them, but Miriam was laughing throughout the entire fucking movie. She found it hilarious.
Really?
Dude, I'm gonna get to my who I think this movie was made for after you're done with your rant. But she laughed at like she was dying all throughout the movie.
No, I really was thinking this too, and I thought about this.
Did you hear him?
Yeah, I thought about this.
Did you hear him? Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, Thor sucks. He does now. I was thinking about this when I was watching this movie and She-Hulk too. It seems like Marvel's just going for a more like kids audience.
Casual, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, but I was watching that opening battle sequence and the song was playing, and I even turned to Marissa at one point during that opening battle, and I said, why do I just feel not excited about this? Like, I feel bored. And even she turned to me and I was like, how do you like this so far? And she just goes, nah. And she likes it. She has a much bigger tolerance. I think it's just because, dude, it just feels like, all right, here we go again. It's not doing anything fresh like we were doing in Ragnarok. And that song, the one didn't hit as well as Immigrant Song. They're just trying to recapture that same magic.
Just use Immigrant Song again, it hits.
Yeah, well, or just do something different, because then again, it's like, again, we're just seeing another big CGI battle. And this movie, unlike Ragnarok, while it does have similar beats, there's way too much going on. We didn't have this whole love story Natalie Portman thing going on. I'm like trying to forgive. Like, I'm trying to like find ways. I'm like, I could see a way where putting Natalie Portman in this movie works. as soon as they showed that she was going to be taking up the mantle of Thor in that first trailer, I was like, absolutely not. I can't do this again. Just because I do not need another character. I don't need this movie to be about Natalie Portman. I want it to be about Thor. But it just keeps getting, the whole time, the movie just keeps getting so sidetracked into other different little things. And like you said, I think there was like a good premise for a movie in there. But same issue, man, as Doctor Strange. This movie moves so fucking quick, and they have so much
you
shit.
Think so?
Yes, I think it moves way too fast, and they have so much shit they have to shove in, and all like the little banter back and forth is so. Oh, it seems like so juvenile. Like it's like stupid. It just seemed way dumber than the jokes in Thor Ragnarok. I don't know. And then,
well, I mean, the screaming goats are peak comedy, Dan. Like I did laugh the first time at the screaming goats, and it would have been fine the first time, but they just kept going.
Yeah, like why did that have to be? Like, here's my issue too with introducing like Natalie Portman again, right, and having her as a like become a Thor.
No,
it sidetracks, but it sidetracks the entire movie. Where you have to establish like they never were shown, like we never saw them really be in a relationship, so they had to have the.
I was trying to figure out when the fuck that happened because I was telling Miriam like every time Thor appears on Earth, and then I'm like, I guess he just stayed on Earth at the end of Dark World and we just didn't see it. Yeah. And then she's not in Age of Ultron, and he mentions her and they're still together. And then Ragnarok happens and they're broken up. And I'm like, I guess all this just happened off screen. Yeah, I don't know, whatever.
That's fine. Yeah. There's years in between the movies. But like they needed that montage of them spending time together when they were together, because we didn't see that. And that's fine, but still I don't have a problem with that in general. But it takes away from the rest of the movie. Like we have to spend time with that. Jane she has cancer. And then at the end, like let's put it this way. I was hoping when she died at the end, I was like, oh, thank God she's not going to keep being Thor.
Oh.
And not because I don't like that idea. It's just we've done this too many times where they're passing off the mantle to these other characters that they're not developing. Yeah. So my perfect example, I was like, in Thor Ragnarok, I love Tessa Thompson. I loved Valkyrie.
Yeah, she's great.
She gets basically, she's on the adventure with them, but she basically gets Rose T-code. Like, she should have been... Tessa Thompson should have had the screen time that Natalie Portman did, right? Like, I just feel like, why do we have to keep introducing these new characters and then you never develop them? So Tessa Thompson just gets fucked off to the side, where I'm like, I thought if anyone was going to be the new Thor, I thought it would be her. Like, why is she getting... her big character arc is she's a lesbian. Like, great. Big surprise. But I would have loved to see more of Valkyrie in this movie. And yes, she's on the adventure. She doesn't literally get like Rose T-code. Like, you just stay with the ship. Like, she's there, but that's it. So I don't know. There was all that going for it. I didn't like, first of all, and also, what do you think about Thor getting jacked again?
I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was. Yeah, I fully expected it to happen. So I was actually curious how they were gonna do it. I thought the montage worked. I have what I would have preferred this movie to be, like what I was hoping it was going to be, but obviously it didn't happen. Fine. I don't know if you at the end of Endgame, he's like, as Guardians of the Galaxy. Dan, I so fucking I really wanted the third movie to be called Thor as Guardians of the Galaxy. I would have loved for them to just have paid the fucking actors, like, hey, we're just gonna have this one-off team up movie. I think it would have been great. I don't know, because like, I don't know, that's what I wanted. And we, so of course we got 20 minutes of it in the beginning of the movie. Because like once I saw the trailers, I was like, okay, how are they gonna make it that Thor and like they're not together anymore? And they're like, oh, there's so much going on, we need to split up, and that's it. Like, I thought it was kind of weak.
Right.
I don't know.
And that's like most of the and therefore moments in the movie, how the plot gets pushed forward. It's just, well, I guess which with the Guardians I was actually fine with, but you're right. It's like every plot of the movie, it's like therefore. It's like, quick. Oh, well, we got to do this now.
And I've come to two realizations while you were venting. And
for it.
so I think you, Ventin, helped me. Okay, so Ragnarok was a soft reboot. If you watch Ragnarok, you notice first thing YT does is kill all the supporting cast from the original 2 Thor movies. All of them die except Jamie Alexander's Lady Sif for some reason. I don't know, but he kills them all, and then he destroys Asgard and he cuts Thor's hair and he destroys the hammer. Everything that made Thor, YTT fucking destroys. So that's why Thor's arc is like, wait, who the fuck am I then? Like, I don't have my dad, I don't have my home, like what? And I love that, to break down of the character. He deconstructs the character, and it doesn't end with like him kind of like getting everything back. It ends with him being like, okay, this is my newfound family, and Odin's thing is like, Asgard isn't a place, it's the people, and I love that. So I love how he realizes like Asgard is wherever we settle, and it ends with him being the king, like the reluctant king. But then, Infinity War changes that, and I thought it was fine. Loki gets killed, and Thor in Infinity War is like this broken down dude, and the last thing he saw was Thanos demolish his people, and he was helpless. So then we have the 2 movie narrative arc of him, like, he kills, he doesn't go for the head, as we know, whatever, and so he takes that personally and becomes really fat. But then in the movie, you have that great scene of his mom where his mom is like, I can see that you suffered. And, she's like, but like, she kind of consoles him, and then he calls the hammer and he's like, oh, I'm still worthy. I love that. Cause it's like, I'm still worthy. I'm still, it's, and then like, he kind of comes to terms with that. And I love that he leaves with the Guardians, because at the end of the movie, he's like, listen, I'm actually not the king. You're a better king than I am. He realizes like, you know what? I don't want to be king. And like, I love that. He's like, my dad was king. That was great. But like, you know what? Like I choose my own destiny. And I thought that was fucking great. So that's actually why I love that ending, because the whole point, the Guardians are the found family of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes perfect sense to have Thor go with them. They are his found family, because we saw him spend the whole movie with Rocket, with Groot, and like with Rocket. So I really love the idea that like he's like, you know what, maybe these are my friends for a while, and I would have loved to see a whole movie of that. But then again, and then we have this movie, he's lost again. And I'm like, what do you mean? He found himself like 2 movies ago.
Sure. I think that's a big, I think you bring up a big point, and I think that's where I have an issue with this movie too, like just fundamentally, like, because you brought up a lot of good points, because Thor he was that character that lost everything, and then we see, and this is something that I really appreciate too, that I don't know if this might just be a little cheap, but how we have these characters like the OG Avengers, when we see them progress in the movies and develop, they develop like physically, like their physical appearances change a lot throughout the movies. Their costume changes, like, and like with, for example, Captain America, his costume when he started off, it was much more cartoony, and he ended with a more like, they look
tactical kind of armor.
Well, they look seasoned. Like these heroes look seasoned, like they've been through some shit physically. Like their appearance, they look like they've been through things. His suit was like, the star was, he just had rolled up sleeves, and it was, and a beard.
It was
but
cool.
We know Chris Evans as Captain America, so now they physically look like they've been through pain. With Thor, that was especially the case, where they cut his hair. I remember that scene. If we just introduced Thor in Endgame, remember when he was sitting there when he had that confrontation with Captain Marvel, and he's like literally just sitting there in like a Carhartt jacket. He looks like Chris Hemsworth. And like, he's not in any, but we know him so well as Thor, and that's Thor that's been through some shit. So I like that his hair was shorter. And another thing, this is, I swear to God, no one's brought this up, but this is the one thing I appreciated, and it's so petty, but it pissed me off in this movie. Speaking on the same vein, Thor had a fake eye. His eye got blown out in Ragnarok. And Rocket, they had that really sweet moment where Rocket gave him a new eye, and his eye was a different color.
Yeah.
They kept that all through Endgame. He had a different color eye. And I noticed that. Like, I thought that was really cool. Thor is like, his hair shorter. He doesn't look like the comic book Thor, but we know him as Thor, but because he's been through shit. And he had this different glass eye, and then he got fat. So this is a character that we've seen all this literal physical development.
Yeah.
But in Love and Thunder, they completely redo all of that.
You know what it feels like?
They reset, everything that they already established. Like you said, like he's finding himself again. It's like, well, what happened to all of that growth? What?
This movie is The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
it just disregards everything from the previous movie because Waititi was like, I want him skinny again. I want Natalie Portman back. I want him to find himself again. He just disregards everything that happened before.
Well, not even that. I mean, he's so ripped in this movie to the point where there was a point, Gene, where I was huge. I was watching. He was in that new fucking costume. I hate
it. I hate his new costume so much.
Him and Natalie Portman were standing. And I'm sorry, I disagree. I thought they had no chemistry at all. But they.
No. I meant to say I think Portman. I think she had good chemistry with Tessa Thompson. So I think she works as a good addition to Thor and Valkyrie, not Solo. I think she worked pretty well as a good addition. Because I thought she had good chemistry with Thompson. So that could be it. It could be what I'm saying. Just Thompson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. It just I had this moment where they're standing there talking to each other, Natalie Portman and Thor, and Natalie Portman's in her Thor getup. And I'm like, first of all, they're both models, and they're in this ridiculous Power Ranger looking suit. I'm like, these people look like action figure. They look like Barbie dolls. So it was distracting to look at them. I'm like, they look too disgustingly perfect.
Portman had so much fucking makeup on the entire time she was Thor. It was awful.
And in those ridiculous outfits, I'm like, this is embarrassing. This is literally embarrassing. Their costumes were never that insane.
No, so I hated Thor's costume. I thought it was so
couldn't
bad.
take any of it seriously. And then now he looks like Thor again, but just even more exaggerated with the bigger muscles and the fucking even more ridiculous costume. I'm like,
his cape looked like plastic. You notice that was weird.
He literally looked like an action figure. And I'm like, what happened to that? That's why this is different than Ragnarok. All that growth and everything just went down the toilet. It's like they tried to do Ragnarok again, but even to
even shinier.
If Ragnarok, there was a dial, right, of Taika Waititi turned up the cartooniness, right, and the jokes, and he just fucking cranked it and ripped it off the goddamn machine. That's what this movie feels like. And there was Gore the God Butcher, who I thought was a great setup, great motivation, perfect. Love Christian Bale in the role, right? Yeah. I'm totally in agreement with you.
He was 3 scenes.
Barely in the movie.
Yeah.
This feels exactly like Doctor Strange, where seemed like there was so much shit cut out of the movie for all of these other dumb side plots. Just have a straight narrative. Have a straight narrative. Why does it have it constantly going in different directions?
If you rewrote this movie, then I guess would you have it just be no mighty Thor, and it's just Thor versus Gore the God Butcher, as your general premise?
Well, yeah, I would have them. Yes,
because
I would need.
Yeah,
you remember the scene because there's a scene where they go off with the goats on the boat and they're like, okay, they're off on the adventure. Tessa Thompson and I like that, but I felt like that was halfway into the movie. They went into because they had to spend all that time. We have to show you the montage. We have to reestablish Jane and Thor. We have to get rid of the Guardians. We have to have those opening battles, and it just. All those CGI fests, and we have to reestablish where they're at New Asgard. That should have been within have been within the first act of Thor. That should have been within the first act of the movie. Them going on that adventure, and it felt like it was already halfway over. I would have had Thor, Korg, and Tessa Thompson.
I can't remember saying this, but I would have liked to see all the Jane Foster stuff as a Disney Plus show. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think no, I know, but hear me out. What if it's we introduce Jane Foster again as a Disney Plus show? She has cancer, yada yada yada. She gets the hammer, and maybe the last toast of her. I don't know who her villain is. I don't know, but maybe it's her learning to be a hero. But the downside is she is dying, right? Mm-hmm. And then we have Thor: Love and Thunder. I guess you have to rename it because she's not in the movie. She's the after credit scene. The after credit scene is her revealing herself to Thor. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That way the movie is just a straightforward. Because I think the plot of Gore is fuck the gods, I'm going to kill them all. I think that works on its own. I think it's a believable motivation. I think it's enough of a threat for Chris Hemsworth because I would have, it would have been great to see more scenes of Gore killing people. He just doesn't though. He doesn't do
No,
shit. Like maybe a scene of him attacking the God City. That would have been cool, right? Too bad we never got it. So it would have been like to show him more of a threat, raise the stakes, show him as a danger. Because you know what this movie didn't have that every superhero needs to have? The first fight where the hero loses. They never did that.
Right.
Gore just leaves.
Right.
And in the
yeah,
black and white world,
fucks off.
The black and white world,
children.
he just fucks off. It doesn't feel like Thor loses that fight. It just feels like Gore's just like, oh, I have the axe now, bye. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it would have been nice to have like a nice, like, I think it would have been, God, I'm rewriting this movie in my head as I say this. I think it would have been great to be like imagine if the movie starts off, Thor is skinny again. He's hanging out with the Guardians. And now, like, he's just traveling the galaxy, saving the galaxy with the Guardians. And I think it would work because maybe now they're like, oh, you defeated Thanos. So you're like this, like, so now you just travel around helping people and people like really love you because you defeated Thanos, you're saving worlds. So, he's like a hero. You know what I'm saying? That would have been great, And maybe it goes to his head a little bit. So then when Gore pulls up, maybe he's like a little over cocky and gets his ass kicked. And it kind of humbles him again because he's thinking like, I helped defeat Thanos. I'm hot shit. Nah, man, you get humbled. I think it would have been great. I think it would have been great motivation for Thor, motivation for Gore. And God, I'm rerunning this fucking movie, Dan. And you don't need so he goes back, comes to his roots, and it's kind of like, hey, like I need help, Valkyrie, like whatever, I don't know, whatever reason to get her in the story, whatever, maybe that's why he leaves the Guardians. Maybe he's like, maybe it's too dangerous for you guys or some shit. I don't fucking know. And then in my rewrite, we introduce Mighty Thor in the after credit scene, and then the next movie is with her. In my rewrite,
I guess, yeah.
I don't know. It's just
no
throwing that out there.
No, exactly. I just think it seemed like there was no payoff of having, like, again, you're in a universe that has hundreds of characters and you feel the need to introduce this character in this plot point that clearly didn't work, and you're going to have her gain superpowers, get another superpower person in this like already overcrowded, everyone's underdeveloped universe.
Yeah.
And you're going to just have her die at the end. Again, thank God, because we don't need more characters. But before we start we need to start getting... Here's what I would have done. Gore the God Butcher comes in, and we introduce him. He comes down to New Asgard, and he starts terrorizing New Asgard, and that causes the Guardians and Thor to go and help,
maybe
right?
He attacks New Asgard in the first act,
yeah,
and that's why Thor returns to Earth.
And he goes to Earth, and then something happens where Gore, get this, okay, I just thought of this. Gore captures Thor, right? And he brings them to this like new city. He brings them to this, like, I don't know, where they get or he brings them to the planet where he was holding Thor and other gods captive, and he was getting ready to execute them, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, Thor is on that planet in that cage, and he runs into Moon Knight.
That'd be cool. Oh, that would make
so he captured. So he captures. So he finds. He goes, "Hey, who are you?" They're picture it. They're both in a cage, and he's like, "Who the hell are you?" He's like, "Oh, I'm." Or it's like not
I'm
Mark,
Khonshu, yeah. Like
no,
I'm Khonshu.
Steven.
Yeah.
Who's Steven?
Steven and Mark. Yeah.
He's the wimpy guy, and he's like, who are you? I don't know where I am. And he's like, so they have to go on this elaborate plan to escape Thor and Moon Knight. And he goes,
oh, that'd be
by
such
the way,
a good team
I'm captured by this other god. And Thor's like, what? And there's like all that comedic humor. Like, what? You have two personalities? And he's like, I don't know where I am. And like Moon Knight's still figuring all this out. And he goes, oh, you're from the Avengers. And then so they escape from the planet, Moon Knight and Thor. And then they like go to that god city or something, or they like basically escape, and then they realize, oh shit, there's all these other gods and other people that Gore has captive, and he's killing them. We got to get back there somehow, and then like it's a team up movie between them. And then you have a B plot where the Guardians and Tessa Thompson are like dealing with Asgard, and then they go off to like go and rescue them. And at the end, it's this big fight where they all come together, and then they all have
we rewrote this movie, and we both wrote two different movies. But it's actually really interesting.
Yeah, my point is that you could have had, if you're going to bring another character into the mix, bring one that you already set up. That's what I
Okay.
think the biggest thing with this
And shit, Moon Knight would work. The precedent is there. He's a god.
he's a god. And
Yeah.
so that's my thing, is that I think these movies are just not exciting anymore because they're not building to anything. We don't know when we're gonna see them again. They're not, and frankly, and if the movie's not good and there's no connections, like, what do you got? You just have another CGI mess,
Yeah.
and you don't know what's gonna ever pay off, or so it really, I'm sorry, a lot of them, they're just not good. So that's my point. Like, I guess where I'm going with it.
No, I mean I like it. I like I like your version too. Because like, yeah, I don't,
And just
so
Gore would have gotten a lot more screen time.
a lot more. I just think, and I did see a lot of people like the comic fans were like, his name's the God Butcher. Like, it would have been really cool to have a scene like where he raised. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I lost you for a minute there. But where a scene where Gore, what?
Like, he raises the city, and then like maybe he like has his people lined up and just like fucking executes them in front of the audience, like just something to make him a threat, you know what I mean? Or like something like that, just something, like anything really.
And
Throw a fucking pie.
Yeah,
Damn.
throw a fucking pie. And then there's good character motivation there with Gore that they just completely squandered. Like, the idea that his god let him down. What the hell? They didn't do anything with that.
Yeah.
Like, what is Thor's responsibility as a god? Like, he doesn't really have any he doesn't have any like philosophical conversations with Gore. They squander all of that. Yeah, go ahead.
I will say, okay. Watching the movie, so we find out that Gore's motivation, is to use the axe to like open the door to the Full Metal Alchemist god, and he's gonna have a wish of wiping out all the gods, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Zeus says that too. Zeus is like, hey, like, or that's like the fear or whatever. I don't know. I fully thought that Gore's motivation was, I have one wish, I'm gonna bring my daughter back. And the gods didn't know that, because the way he's just choosing violence to justify something he believes is a just cause, right? So I thought it was gonna be like, at the end of the movie, like Thor's trying to stop him, and maybe Gore's like, why are you trying to stop me? I just want my daughter back. And then they'd be like, have a little misunderstanding moment.
Right.
No, that's not what happened. He was like, no, I just want to kill all the gods. And then Thor's the one who's like, think about like, and then he's kind of the one who realizes like, you could just get your daughter back. Like, and I was like, oh, I think my theory was better.
It's so stupid. No, you're right. No, that is a way better theory, but it's
because I think it would have given Gore like agency and like made us relate to him a little bit, like Killmonger,
I was gonna say, yeah, be a Killmonger villain.
Yeah,
like at the end, yeah, he was kind of right, but
like, well, he has like his reasons, like they're not rational, but like we understand why he's doing this.
They kind of had it.
They kind of had it. They did, because I don't hate that how he's like at the end he realizes like, because like here's another thing too, like I like how I don't hate how he realizes like, I've let revenge cloud my judgment, but we don't see that.
Yeah,
we just jump there. We just
and that was my thing too. That was my thing too. When they go to the whole Zeus city, I mean, again, just a big CGI mess. But at least when we went to the city in Ragnarok, we had those payoffs where, oh, Loki's there. He's gonna find the Hulk there. That's where Bruce Banner's been for the last couple of years. They go through that like sci-fi alien city. Jeff Goldblum had a couple of jokes that were funny with the melt stick,
Yeah.
But here it just seemed like this very big like aside where they just go to this city and they kill. I was like, they kill Zeus and kill. I saw the after credit, but I'm like, what was that for? That just seemed like
you know what it felt like to me?
What?
It felt like they're paying Russell Crowe a lot of money, man. They need to give him lines. Like, it just felt like they're like, oh fuck, it's Russell Crowe. He's Gladiator. Like, we just paid all this money for him. We might as well give him a bunch of lines. So this is Russell Crowe's moment.
that whole sequence was so like, what was that for? They had to go get the thing, and then they like that
The
whole was
lightning
just
bolt.
the whole sequence was so boring, and I just couldn't help but think, what was that for? Like that's again screen time that I would have done something completely different with.
Yeah, maybe Gore attacks the city. Thor and his crew arrive at the end, and maybe Zeus is dying, or someone is like, "Hey, you have to stop him. Take my lightning bolt." Something like
Right.
like a
And
good
then
movie would have done. Because now
the
Thor
whole
has
in
because now Thor has also that. Now he's like, "Oh, I have to avenge the gods. Like I've been given this task. Like, hey, remember? You know what it is? Fucking James Gunn. Remember how in the Suicide Squad they give Harley Quinn the staff?"
yeah.
And that's how she kills Starro, like the
Yeah.
MacGuffin, the Chekhov's gun. Like,
That you forget about for a while.
but my point is, like, it's Chekhov's gun. It comes back. The
Right.
lightning bolt could have been a Chekhov's gun. Like, it gives agency. No, my God, Dan, we should. Someone's gotta get us in Hollywood. I hate to say this, but
It just,
I know every YouTuber and nerd on the internet has their own fan theories, but fuck theirs. Ours are the good ones.
yeah, it was they just went over way too many things that just weren't very satisfying at all. I mean, and again, I had an issue with the whole inciting incident of that Gore comes and takes all the children,
I don't
which
understand.
could be which
I
could
don't
be
understand why he
fine,
took the children. I don't
but
understand
when
why he was stealing children. Still, I don't know.
it was such a worthless thing that like they had to establish again. Like this movie just kept getting sidetracked the entire time. They had to like have that really quick aside where they established that one kid is Idris Elba's son.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Dad. When the fuck did he have a kid?
Who cares? Like again, that's
You know
fine
what
if
it
that was the only thing. But like, I'm like,
you
oh
know
wait,
what it
now I
feels like
like
to me? You know what it feels like to me?
what?
That they were like, we just cast this black kid. I guess he can be the son of the only other black ass guardian. Like, you know what made a lot more sense, Dan?
What?
Literally anyone else had the power that Heimdall has, right?
Yeah.
And
Why is that unique?
they could just say like, oh
I'm
yeah,
another Asgardian.
they could have been like, oh yeah, since Heimdall died, the power just reincarnates. Like this way, it
Perfect.
stays in Asgard. I'm saying like maybe they could have been like Odin made sure that we always have this available to us. So every
Yes.
time the current carrier dies, it just manifests in somebody else. Makes sense. It's Asgard. It's magic. We're not going to question it as an honest, but they're like, you know what? Yeah, there's another Black Asgardian, and he's the son of the other Black Asgardian because we don't have
Yeah.
any originality.
I mean, in theory, Thor going on the mission to save the kids is not a terrible idea. But even when he goes to like that vision and he can communicate with them and he's standing in the cage with them, which again was unnecessary. It's like just have them be able to communicate with you somehow. You don't have to be standing. I don't know. It was an unnecessary. That's the whole reason why they established that was Idris Elba's son because he had that power. But
Yeah.
anyway, but when he's doing that, he's just such an idiot. He goes, "Yeah, some of you may die," or something, or like, and it's played off as a joke. And the kid's like, "Just leave." You're like, and again, yeah, it's not funny because at that moment you want Thor to be like the big strong hero to come and save you, and he's like just an idiot and kind of an asshole. He's like useless. It's like, yeah, get out of here. You're not gonna help this situation, you idiot.
Yeah, that would have worked really well. And the kids are also like, "Oh, you're Thor, like you're a hero," but like, nah. Taika Waititi's like can't help himself, and I'm like, oh god. Uh, anyway, movie is like, and like, okay, so here's. I know I said I liked it more than I thought I did, and here I am fucking ripping it to shreds. Cause that's what you do to me, Dan. That's what you do to me.
I don't want to. I don't want to
No,
influence your opinion or anything, and I
you
don't want
make
to
me
rain on
real.
anyone's parade.
No, you know what it is? Watching the movie though, I did kind of realize like this is just like a summer blockbuster. Like I see why they released it when they did, because I do see how it's like the summer movie of like there's because think about it. Like we have the one big three Avengers still left. Okay, people like Chris Hemsworth. People know he's funny. People like his jokes. So it's like this movie. It's like a summer movie. There's comedy. There's action. You know what I'm saying? Like you have this big triple A star as the villain. You have this other big triple A star as like a very minor supporting character. So I see it as like this is meant to be a fun summer action movie. But my thing is, that's not what this movie should have been. I think that's my issue. I think I don't know, like the fun action summer movie should have been like Shang-Chi or like anyone else. Because I don't think where we left off with Thor at Endgame makes sense going into his next appearance being the fun action. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see what I'm saying? I just don't like. I feel like Marvel wanted a fun action movie, so they thought, "Whoa, Thor can be it." But I don't think it makes narrative sense. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Hold on. Hello? Hello? No, I can't hear you. I can hear myself though. uh Hello? Hello? I still can't hear you.
What the hell?
Oh, there you are. Hello?
Oh,
Oh,
good.
hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi.
Okay. Yeah, but no, I agree with you. It could be like it could be a big fun action blockbuster, but it failed at that. It again, I feel like it's a lot of the same core issues I had with Doctor Strange is that they had way too many subplots that didn't need to be there, that they had to spend so much more screen time on, and it felt like as a result the main villain suffered with screen time. They just had to cut so much out, they had to move so quicker in
Yeah.
exchange for what? A Natalie Portman love story that goes nowhere, establishing that she's a superhero. They have to I felt it was a little stupid too that like they felt the need that Korg's like voiceover in the beginning, they have to like constantly tell you, just so you know, here's a recap of everything of Thor's journey. Here's Thor, the character. Remember his arc? He lost everything in his life. And it's like, yeah, we know that. Like, are these movies, and that's fine. But again, these movies never used to feel like they were made for just 10-year-olds. But now it feels like they're just being made just for 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what I was like, are they just going for a much younger audience? Where,
Yeah.
of course, they always were, but at least it felt a little bit more four quadrant. Like a little bit more mature.
Oh, Dan. No, also to backtrack, they're making Dan at the end of the movie. They put the Thor will return tagline. He's coming back, Dan.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's so stupid.
But I'm reading about how Waititi and Hemsworth did not know that was added to the movie.
I did hear that actually.
Yeah, and apparently it says Waititi was open to returning to direct another Thor film if Hemsworth was also involved, stating the story would need to be something surprising and unexpected, suggesting a low-budget road trip film with no fight scenes, which just sounds like him fucking trolling, but whatever. I don't know, but yeah, I don't think there's much I can say about this movie. It was a movie. It was a movie. Wubba lubba dub dub. Are you watching Rick and Morty, Dan?
Hold on. Okay. Sorry, my mic just GarageBand. Anyway, am I watching Rick and Morty? I have not seen the new season yet. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I'm really loving it. I'm not gonna spoil anything for you. Episode 1 though is a really good like narrative payoff episode if you've been following the series. Like I really liked it. Like they really did like a whole like, listen, we're gonna give you guys a lot of payoff for following and keeping up with all the bullshit. And the second episode was like a fun, like classic, like season 1, season 2, like Rick and Morty adventure. Like it felt like a season 1, season
Rick
2
and Morty adventure, a classic Rick and Morty adventure.
But it was. Yeah. It felt like a season 1, season 2 episode, which is like the season 2 is like the best one. So check it out. I'm really liking it. What are you watching these days, Daniel?
I'm almost done with Better Call Saul.
Oh my god, I really want to get into that show because I love Bob Odenkirk.
Have you ever been a Breaking Bad person?
Never watched it.
You've never done Breaking Bad.
Never watched it, dude. I have did I tell you my list of shows? I think I did, right?
Bro. When we brought up Breaking Bad on the podcast and you didn't say anything, I was meant to call you out on this. I'm like, has Gene never done Breaking Bad?
No, you know what it is? When it was like,
it's okay. I have a lot of dark spots too.
I wasn't watching a lot of TV when it was like the biggest thing, you know? So kind of just missed it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it when it was, until later.
Listen, I have a whole list, man. I got Deadwood on there, Justified, Fargo, True Detective, Barry, Sharp Objects. We talked about this. Nathan For You in Westworld. So
Mm-hmm.
'cause
Breaking Bad is my favorite show of all time.
I do want to watch it. I will get to it. Oh, Dan, that reminds me. Oh my god. Okay. I want to talk shop after we're done recording. So there's something I want to do. Like I really want to do this because you love Breaking Bad.
Oh boy.
Okay.
All right. We'll talk about it after.
I'm gonna give you a homework assignment. It's
okay.
I'm just gonna be watching the trailer. That's really what it is. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm watching so I'm really I want to talk about this moment the season's over. I'm really liking House of the Dragon. I'm really liking it.
Okay.
I started Rings of Power. I watched the first 2 episodes, haven't watched the third yet. Or the fourth that drops today. I wasn't like too impressed because I'm really liking House of the Dragon, but I like Lord of the Rings enough to keep watching it. So I'm gonna see where I'm interested in seeing where it goes, but like
okay,
as far as the like competition, House of the Dragon blows it away. It's so good.
I knew you were watching Rings of Power, and I was gonna ask you, and we were already at like an hour 52, so we'll get into it next episode.
Yeah, I'd like to.
But no, because I just watched the first Lord of the Rings for the first time recently. Yeah.
What did you give it? I don't remember what you gave it.
Oh, I gave it a 5. I loved it.
It's so good, right?
Oh, it was amazing. And so I
wait, which cut? Which cut? I'm sorry, I'm being a nerd now. Sorry, which cut did you watch?
It was the theatrical.
Okay, no, it's really good. So extended cut is great. The theatrical cut is honestly like also really good. The nerds are like, but all the extra Tolkien bullshit. Yeah, but the theatrical cut is still very good. So
yeah. No, I wanna watch the trilogy, the first trilogy, and get that under my belt.
Yeah, you don't gotta watch The Hobbit. You just gotta watch the original trilogy. You're chilling.
Right. I'm aware of all the reputations. But no, it's funny because I've been watching House of the Dragon, and we've of course been watching it religiously. I have some. It's definitely a really good show. It's a good show. Yeah, we'll talk about it when the season's over. I just know.
Yeah, I want to do a whole episode just on that because I have a lot.
We're gonna talk.
To say.
Yeah, and I know right now Rings of Power is like basically everyone's comparing the two shows, and I haven't gotten into Rings of Power yet, but I just want to go through the trilogy.
Dan, it's getting curb stomped. It just doesn't. Yeah,
I know it was getting review bombed, which that's
racism.
The thing. That's always a thing.
Yeah.
But I have listened to people that literally love everything, and I've heard that people are saying that are huge Lord of the Ring fans that are not super happy with it.
Yeah, like from a visual standpoint,
which is crazy.
Yeah, from visual standpoint,
for the money they spent.
Oh yeah, no, it looks great. It doesn't look like shitty. It's just like
gotcha.
I don't know. It's kind of a slow burn in a way, and like I don't know. Just you have to see it to see what I'm talking about. And again, like it's just been like it's the premise is there. I'm like, okay, like I want to see where the story's going. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to see that, but I think it needs to just move a little faster. Just pick it up a little bit, you know? Because I'm really I'm loving how in House of Dragon every episode's like a few years later. I'm really loving that. I liking how each episode's like we're moving along. I think it's working really well.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice.
I think it works really well. But we'll get there. Okay. I'm making my way through Sunny because I haven't watched it. I really want to watch Welcome to Wrexham though. My brother's watching it and he really likes it.
Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, my thing now is I have a huge watch list on Letterboxd of just older movies I want to get to.
Yeah, you're watching a ton of movies lately.
Yeah, no, when I have time, I'll always like rent something or a lot of it. We have a lot of streaming services, so I can find usually a lot of things on streaming, but or I'll just rent on YouTube. But I want to go through a lot of that. I don't really have many shows that are on my radar that I really want to put on like my watch list because again, I only have like a limited amount of time for shows and movies. So when I have time, it's gonna be something on my watch list or the only show that I've really thought about, like I really want to get into and finish is Death Note.
Oh, okay.
Because I've started and stopped Death Note. I know it's not a long anime, and I was really into it when I first watched it the first couple of times, and I never finished.
Yeah, it's not very long.
That's the only TV show that keeps popping up in my head right now that I have any interest in.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Right now, I'm just Rick and Morty. Really liking these. Very strong start. Rings of Power, loving it. Not Rings of Power. House Dragon, loving it. Rings of Power. Yeah, I'll catch up. Besides that, I have to make time to watch the last season of Atlanta because Atlanta's fucking phenomenal. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Should we do questions? I don't know.
I didn't have any questions this week. I always forget to put the thread up late.
That's fair.
Let me just. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I mean, so I think we covered a lot. Sorry if I ruined your Thor Love and Thunder experience. I didn't want.
Okay, actually, closing up before. Did you watch the trailer to Werewolf by Night?
Mm-hmm.
I'm cautious. It's Disney. It's Marvel. But listen. If you would have told me Disney's gonna release a trailer for a TV show in black and white, and it's purposely made to be a 1930s campy horror movie, I would have been like, "No, you're not." I was impressed. I will say I was impressed. Again, we'll see how it turns out. But I am impressed that they made it in black and white, and two, it really seems like they purposely made it like a 1930s, like campy, like you know what I'm saying, like that, like I. It's a cool choice. I hope it pays off. If it pays off, because it's not I think this is like a one-off. I think it's like a 1-episode special. So like,
yes,
fuck it, we'll see how it goes. And also, Gael is the star, and I love Gael. So, did you watch? Are you excited for Andor? Because I am. Actually, I think it looks great.
Oh, I was meaning to ask you about that, and I've read people that are on Twitter. I've seen people that are critics who have seen it, and they're getting, even people that I know that are usually pretty critical people, they're saying it's really good.
Yeah. So, and like the trailer, like I like the trailer because I'm like, oh, like they put a lot of money into this fucking show, and
yeah,
it's like it looks like a nice blend of prequels and like because you see like Phase 2 clones, you see Coruscant, you see the Empire, so I was like, okay, yeah. And I love Diego Luna, so and I like Obi-Wan. I didn't hate Obi-Wan, so I hate to say it right now. I'm liking Star Wars more than Marvel. I mean, the money all goes to the same fucking rat, but you know.
Yeah, I kind of hate all of it at this point. I only check out the things that I want to check out. But
Secret Invasion trailer impressed me. It looks like it could be like a Winter Soldier kind of like spy thriller. I hope it's good. I really do. I don't hate the Thunderbolts lineup. We'll talk about that next time, though.
Yeah, John Walker, the best thing to come out of the Disney Plus shows for me.
I can explain real quick why I don't hate it if you want me to, unless I'm going to wait until next time.
No, go for it. Why you like the lineup? Yeah,
I like the lineup because I feel like people expect it to be like, well, this is like the Avengers replacement, and I don't want it. My theory is this, but it's basically I don't want it to be where like, no, like these aren't the guys who the government's going to send to like fight the aliens. I think it would work really well as like a Suicide Squad of like, this is just who the government sends to do like Earth shit. And I think it would work really well with that team. You know what I'm saying?
Or it's a one-off team-up movie.
But I'm saying is like, I don't want them to fight like an alien invasion. I want them to be like a spy thriller. I think it would work really well as like something akin to like the Suicide Squad, where it's like, you know, government, the government's like, we're just going to send you assholes. We don't care about you guys, but we need you to cover up the shady, you know, we need you to cover up the Armenian genocide.
I think they would. Yeah, I think they would do something like that. Yeah.
So, but I feel like people are like giving them shit. They think it's going to be like, well, these guys wouldn't do, like, I saw people saying like Hulk and Thor alone would wreck these guys. I'm like, yeah, they would, which is why I don't think they're meant to be like aliens are attacking. Like, no, that's not who they would send out. Like, I don't know, whatever.
No, I get what you mean.
So if it turns out to be just like a action spy thriller, I think it would work really well. We'll find out in like 3 years, but whatever. Yeah.
I guess my disinterest in the Marvel stuff is that
it's too much.
Well, it doesn't seem like, I mean, aside from the shows just getting and the movies just getting worse and worse and just more kiddie, like for babies, it seems like part of the fun of Marvel always was that it was leading towards something, right? Like we're waiting for
it's taking a sweet ass time.
It's going to lead to something in 2036, you know?
Avengers Kang Dynasty, Dan. Pay attention.
I want to... again, like I feel like these shows and movies where they should start interconnecting the characters a little bit, like you know, like I feel like if it was 2011, 2010, they wouldn't have put Natalie Portman in that movie. They would have teamed Thor up with one of the new characters they introduced. But
for sure.
they just keep introducing more and more and more, and no one's getting developed. And so that's part of it. So when you don't have movies, but like you could have team movies where they don't team up. So then what are these movies reduced to? They're just reduced to just CGI clusterfucks of characters that we don't really care about.
Yeah.
That are just being introduced for the first time. And then before there used to be like these really good characters that we had investment in, and we're just not getting that anymore. So that's kind of just where I fall on it.
Yeah. No, I get it. I do get that. Well, we'll find out when we are in 2036, when we are old and we live underwater.
Yeah, exactly. It's all just meant to distract us.
And movie theaters don't exist anymore. We're just gonna have it streamed into our brains via Elon Musk's brain link. So
yeah. All right. Well, on that note, I think that's an episode, folks. If you made it in this far, thank you for listening.
Made it this far, we apologize that you hate Marvel now.
Gene, lead us out with some wise words of wisdom.
Really, here's some word. Ponder this, internet. We're at this precipice where Disney owns everything, and really, this would have never happened if 9/11 didn't happen. And on this anniversary of 9/11, I want y'all to think about that. Think about it.
That was beautiful.
Give me some questions. Give me your questions on how 9/11 is responsible for Disney owning everything. And with that, that's the end of the show. All right, bye guys.
Good night, folks.
I don't know. You put me on fucking end.
I know. I love that.
No, you know what it is? I remember. It was you've never seen Arrested Development, did you?
No.
Oh man, Dan, you have to watch it. Just the first 3 seasons are peak fucking comedy.
Okay.
I